The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Hello and welcome into Week 7 of the Mike Clowney Show. Carson-Newman pulls out a 37-0 win over the Erskine Flying Fleet. And what is the Eagles' first Saturday night home game in the month of October since 1984. I'm Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Clowney. Mike, a lot of firsts on Saturday night. First shutout since 2016, first home shutout since 2006. Playing under the lights at Berktar in the month of October on a Saturday for the first time in 38 years, and wearing black jerseys for the first time ever. A lot of hoopla, I suppose, around the game, but at the end of the day, an utterly dominant defensive effort, and left no doubt in the second half to pick up win number 3 of the season. What did you see from your team in fine form on Saturday night?
I found, especially defensively, what you talked about, just counting them, being able to come out and dominate the entire game. I think it's a sentiment to Coach Slade and his staff. I thought across the board, those guys did a good job of getting our kids ready. I thought our kids just did a good job of communicating, executing. And then offensively, really going into the second half, to be able to kind of put that stamp on the game, I thought was a really big plus for us.
Yeah, you're still dressed appropriately here a day later. Got the black suit on. Well received. The kids got surprised before the game. They were presented what we had been saying for a while, that it was going to dark mode. We're in all blues. Had those jerseys in the lockers. There were some of them up in chapel in their blue pants, only to get curved and have to realize that, hey, you got to go downstairs and change into the all blacks. How gratifying it was to see that surprise pay off and do something a little different that was player focused.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that in this game, especially now, you try to make sure that you can do some things to kind of provide the players with some energy. It's a couple of them, they were kind of like, blah, blah, blah. But like the thing they don't know is like they barely came in and to be able to wear them in this game. I mean, they came in late last week, so. But that was fun to be able to see them get enthusiastic about being able to wear black.
COVID supply chain issues do affect not pants,
but everything.
The
knee pads, helmets.
The pants have been here since July. Yeah. The tops arrived, I believe, Friday of last week.
Yeah, it was late last week they come in. So
you had that little wrinkle, but on the field, this was just straight up smash mouth football. You ran the ball 55 times, you rushed for more than 300 yards, played ball control, possessed it for more than 35 minutes. What did you see out of the offense moving consistently, especially after halftime?
Yeah, I think, you talk about the smash mouth, and I think that's the mentality, as a program that we have to really embrace. And you start to kind of hear our kids start to kind of embrace that mentality. And so I think, for us, as we continue to work and move forward, to do everything that we can to develop that mentality and continue to build on it.
Carson-Newman gets the win over the Erskine Flying Fleet 37-0. We break down the first half after these messages. This is the Mike Clowney Show.
Sure, we've been around a while. 171 years to be exact. Founded on the banks of a creek. This creek, Mossy Creek. We know the power of a liberal arts-based Christian education and the tremendous potential of what can be found on this campus, within this community. We are found here and here and here and here and also here in the classroom, on the field. We are adventurers, dreamers, believers, passionate and compassionate, curious and clever, driven by a common purpose towards a common goal.
We are
family on a journey of discovery.
I found my passion. I found my calling. I found family.
I found a way to lead. I found a place to call my own.
I found purpose.
There's something for everyone.
We are
Carson-Newman.
What will you find?
All right, back on the Mike Clowney Show as Carson-Newman gets the job done over the Erskine Flying Fleet, 37-0. I'm Adam Cavalier alongside the Eagles head man Mike Clowney. Mike, a first half, kind of had some fits and starts, at least offensively, and Erskine did hit a big play, 54-yard pass on their second drive to kind of flip fields, but defense, name of the day, all day long, stopped them, turned them over on downs, and that was really the only threat for the Flying Fleet. After giving up a big play to Tusculum the previous week, how proud were you to see that defense not allow it to happen, to hurt you, I suppose, this week?
Yep, super proud because, I mean, we sit and we let a guy get behind us. You know, we're on the right side, but, you know, with effort, we got him caught, we got him tackled, defensive able to go down. You know, they went for it on fourth down and get the stop, keep points off the board. You know, I was excited about that effort.
Defensively lived in the backfield, especially Frank Lee. 4.5 tackles for loss, part of a 9-team tackle for loss day. For Lee, it's the 7th highest single game tackle for loss total in school history. What did you see from that crew just existing in the backfield all night long?
You know, Frank, yeah, I mean, just you go back and you watch the tape. I mean, just running like to the football, you know, a couple times even coming his way, to be able to kind of get the guy to hold up and then go back and finish that tackle. You know, kind of amazing effort, you know, from Frank. And then the other guys did a great job too. You just kind of see them control the line of scrimmage. We worked better to get off of blocks into the football, you know, in this game than we have in some of the past games.
Third down, outrageous. I don't think Erskine converted on one until the fourth quarter, and then they had finished 2 for 13 for something that's been an emphasis point all year long. Probably as good as it gets outside of maybe that little stretch against Newberry in the second half.
Yep, I mean, still going back to, you know, having that reminder that we're in that situation. And we're doing better with that at home than we're on the road. Still got to make sure we do a good job on the road identifying that situation because, like I said, there's some things environment-wise here that help as good reminders. But super proud of that because you have to be able to be good on third down if you're going to be successful as a program.
Offensively, a bit dinged up running back-wise. Vontae Brackett gave it a go, but just 2 carries. TJ King rushes for 100 yards with turf toe. And Tyler Curtis, good hard yards, and finishes just shy of 85. Given how dinged up that room is, first, the performances of those who were hurt. What's that say about their character?
Now we go back to talking about having a hard-nosed mentality, you know, and that's where you always, when you're coaching, coaches always talk about the difference between being hurt and injured. You know, if you're injured, you can't go. If you're hurt, then you have to find a way to go and still be productive. And I'm proud because that's what those guys did in this game Saturday. You know, they weren't feeling good, but they had a job to do. They went out and they worked to get it done.
The second part of that got a lot of guys, a lot of touches there late. Seth Cooper rushes for 25 yards. Don Dunning gets some touches. Caleb Keeter has his first career carry. Walker Bunce, multiple rushes. Going to have to take a deep dive to figure out the last time this many guys rushed the football in a single game. How gratifying was it to see that crew get some pretty significant run late?
That was fun, and then to have the guys on the sideline kind of rally behind them in support of them was fun. You know, Keeter and Bunce were actually in the running back room when I was coaching running backs, so I was able to see them come in and like be their running back coach their freshman year, and just to look over like this long period of time that it's taken, but for them to get in the game and get some touches and then, you know, be productive. You know, I thought Coach Weaver did a good job of, you know, preparing every man in the room because you never know, you know, who's up next. And so I know Cooper and Dunnigan came in first and, you know, continued to move the football, moved it down here. We were able to get a field goal out of it. And so that was fun.
Carson-Newman up at the halftime break, 13-0 on the Erskine Flying Fleet, and here are those first half highlights.
Pistol claps his hands, takes the snap. As time throws, middle of the field, too tall, incomplete. The intended target, Young Lee, but it was flung over his head. Double barrel, rewind, counter, right side. Curtis lowers his shoulder, stays on his feet across the 30, and drives his way to the right sideline, out of bounds, inside the 25, down at the 22. Jamari is into the game with Curtis in the backfield. Corbin takes the throw, the right sideline. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Braxton Westfield on a free play. Got it with two hands in the end zone. And the Eagles light the lamp first. With 5:51 to go in the first quarter, it's 6-0. The gun takes the snap. Play fake, roll right. Frank Lee has him, and Frank Lee strikes him to the surface. A sack for Lee. 4 wide, 2 each way. Jeffcoat back to pass, now steps up and steps right into the grasp of Carson-Newman. Trezell Giardini-Weish, a loss of a half a yard. 37. Jeffcoat out of the gun, throws. That's complete. Shy of the sticks, ball flies out. Carson-Newman picks it up. Flag on the play after the fumble recovery. It was a first down for Erskine. Adson Ward had it, and then Kendall Williams popped out of there. Lead on 2nd and 15. The backward pass in a screen to Pinckney. Pinckney gummed up. Frank Lee found him, and Pinckney will not make it back to the line of scrimmage. Elite pursuit by the Spartanburg Methodist transfer. He loses a yard. Catch a high snap. Eagles sell out, and they block it. Racing to pick it up is Trezell Giardini-Weish, and he returns it inside the 30, down to the 27-yard line before he's tackled along the right sideline. Gravely, the guy that brings him down to prevent the touchdown, but Trezell Giardini-Weish scooping up the block punt. Eagles in business with Christian Irwin, a 42-yard try. The lefty on. Irwin puts his leg into it, and Christian Irwin punches it through. So Christian Irwin buries a 42-yard kick. Eagles get 3 after the blocked field goal, and it's a 10-0 lead in favor of Carson-Newman for all your electrical contracting needs. Jeffcoat throwing right side, batted in the air, incomplete. Who else? Frank Lee skyward to deflect the pass at the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and 20 to go. Frank 3 to the wide side left. Jeffcoat draw straight ahead. Frank Lee read it. Frank Lee wraps him up and sticks him back to the turf. Claps his hands, takes the shotgun snap, hands off Cato left side. Frank Lee right there. And the alligator deft rolls him to the surface back at the 38. A loss of 2. Jeffcoat from the pistol takes the snap, hands off to Cato. He's buckled in the backfield. Turnover on downs. DeAndre Will from the gun, 3-step drop, throws left sideline, Westfield, complete, Westfield. It's extra yardage against Barfield. On a snap. Snap, hold, Irwin, kick, plenty of length. Does it have the line? It does. Christian Irwin strikes through his second 42-yard field goal of the day, and the Eagles head into the halftime locker room with a 13-0 lead.
Those are the first half highlights. Eagles led it at the break, 13-0 over the Erskine Flying Fleet. Mike Clowney, 2-minute offense kicked into gear to get you those 3 points before the break. Had the penalty that brought back a long reception for Braxton Westfield, but it's still, at the end of the day, your offense has gotten pretty good at managing that 2-minute drill. 3 out of the last 4 weeks, you've put points on the board heading into the halftime locker room.
Yep, I mean, it's something that we work on. We run 2 minute at least once a week. And so we're actually probably been more successful at it in games than we have in practice. But the guys have done a good job, working to get out of bounds when they need to get out of bounds, run to the football, managing the clock. I think the big thing in a 2-minute drill, the thing that you can't do is panic. And our guys have been able to kind of keep their calm, to get set up. And sometimes you don't want to get too calm, but they've been able to keep their calm, get lined up, give us a chance to get snaps. and we've been able to kind of hold some timeouts a little bit for the end of the game, which takes some pressure off of you calling plays, because now if you do get in a bind, you can just take a timeout.
Christian Irwin, 2 42-yard field goals in the second quarter alone. Make the switch and have him handle those duties. What'd you see out of your, I guess we'll call him a sophomore, place kicker?
I think one thing you always want in a room is be able to be competitive. And so we felt like it was time to kind of give Christian an opportunity to kick field goals. And, we talk about this, probably we'll get into more the second half. But, as a player, whenever, the thing I have to do is I prepare every day, I hope my opportunity shows up my way. And when that opportunity shows up, then you have to be able to capitalize on it. And so I thought he did a really good job coming in. He had 2 42-yard field goals, was good on extra points, and kicked the ball out the back of the end zone. So he did a great job.
Trezel Giardini-Weiss becomes just the second guy in school history to block 2 kicks in a game. One, he got the little tip to. The second was emphatic, and then he picks it up and returns it. Pump block game on point. You said post-game you saw some things leading up that you thought you could take advantage. Clearly that was true.
Yeah, and so you see that on film, and but you still have to capitalize on it. So we've talked to our kids about it, and Trezel, kind of him being there is really one of our better pass rushers, and it's really still that same being fine, older guy, a little bit more disciplined. When you talk about blocking punts, the thing you're afraid of is don't get him another opportunity and rough the punter. And he did a great job of taking the ball off the guy's foot, and then had the presence to go pick the ball up too and run. So it's
Tri-Light is proud to support Carson-Newman Athletics. We salute the student athletes who are working hard to make great things happen on the field, in the classroom, and in the world. It takes vision, commitment, and teamwork, qualities we share at Tri-Light. Our mission is to provide life-changing opportunities by building a world-class fiber broadband network. If you'd like to learn more, please visit trilight.net or call us at 833-847-0824. We love to cheer for our home teams, like the Eagles. It means more when we're rooting for the people we know. Did you know Tri-Light is your home team internet provider? We're right here in Jefferson City, serving the people we know with our ultra-fast, ultra-reliable fiber broadband network. And we'd love to serve you. Learn more at trilight.net or by calling 833-847-0824. Go Eagles!
All right, back on the Mike Clowney Show as Carson-Newman triumphs in Week 7, 37-0 over the Erskine Flying Fleet. Carson-Newman shuts out a foe at home for the first time since 2006. The last time the Eagles did it, it was a 44-0 win over Weber International on Saturday. 37-0 Eagles do it over the Erskine Flying Fleet. Adam Cavalier, Mike Clowney. Mike, a second half where, again, the drive summaries are just bonkers. At least for your defense. I suppose goes beyond the second half, but 3 turnovers forced, 7 3-and-outs. We kind of alluded to it earlier, gave up the one big play earlier. Outside of that big play, is there anything else your defense could have done better?
Still, you have some execution stuff, communication, just kind of just misaligning. But overall, we still had a couple of those plays in the first half that either hit our hands and we don't finish on them. There's always work. There are always things that you need to get better on. But we're gonna be excited about what we did do and then continue to work to improve what we need to improve.
Cam Henson, 2 picks for a guy that's kind of been in the background for a while. House is a 31-yard interception return and then ends the game pretty much with his second pick on Erskine's final possession. For a guy who's kind of been a background player to step into that shining moment, how nice is that to see?
That was fun. That was fun for Cam. I saw his mom after the game, and so it was fun for all of us. It was fun for our guys on the sideline. He did a great job on slant route, kind of anticipated, jumped the route, get the pick 6, and then the last play of the game. That ball, he's center field guy. The ball's tipped have a presence to come up and make that play to end the game. Cam did a good job of taking advantage of his opportunity.
I think it says something, too, about the program. The first two reactions on Twitter from that play were Darius Williams and Desmond Farrell, two guys that know a thing or two about grabbing a pick and heading a few yards the other way for 6.
So what were those? That's two pretty good ones.
Darius jumped in and said, "Man, that looks like Des Farrell back there." Cam might have Des might have a few inches on Cam height-wise, but yeah, jumping the route, those two could do it a little bit.
And it's exciting when the guys that that's one thing we talk about, that family environment, but they know that those guys still had their eye on the program, and then to kind of pat guy on the back that's here now, man, it's just something that's super special about being at Carson-Newman.
A second half, we kind of touched on the running backs and obviously Cam Henson, but even guys like Corey Clemson, he gets a sack there late in the fourth quarter. Didn't feel like there was a drop-off when you went to guys on the second string.
The same thing. I mean, quality player. In a game, sometimes there's just so much time and space that you get to work. But Corey's a quality player. Just kind of doesn't work in the rotation. It really as much as we like him to. I mean, he's a good player and, going to have a great future here.
What'd you tell your team in the halftime locker room, up 13-0 at the break?
We bragged on defense. I mean, because we haven't given up anything. Offensively, it's always good when the players kind of take the initiative on what's going on. But we just talked about production translating into points offensively. I mean, that's something that we need to see more and more and more. And that's where, the challenge from our players was like, let's go out, let's establish the game, with a physical mentality to be able to run downhill and put points on the board, to come back out, get the football and do that was gratifying.
It feels like those adjustments are happening quicker and quicker. You talk about that. You scored on your first two times you had the football in the second half, and it wasn't exactly like you got a turnover and put it in from 15 yards out. No, these were a couple 70-yard drives and pretty much exclusively on the ground.
I think, that's running backs and up front. I mean, they believe in our running game, and we got to make sure that we continue to develop it. But, in college football, the biggest thing that you have to do is be able to make adjustments quick. That's what you alluded to, kind of on the fly. And so guys are getting older. They play a little bit more games, and so you can kind of see those, instead of having to come in and explain some things, to get a little bit more to where we can just make the call that we need to make to kind of move what we need to move.
What's a reasonable expectation? And obviously each team and situation is different, but what's a reasonable expectation for speed of adjustment?
I mean, it should be as
as possible. Yeah. Probably goes without saying there, huh? Yeah. How do you win a football game? Score points.
Yeah. No, it's just like, as soon as we see something, a lot of times, like, a guy gets out of place, and so you want to be able to coach him to get back to where he needs to get to. But, whenever, an opponent sees something and they exploit that, then you always need to have a call to fix that as fast as you can.
All right, Carson-Newman gets the job done over the Erskine Flying Fleet, 37-0. And here are those second half highlights.
Corbin, zone read keeper, right side across the 40 and 45. Past midfield into Erskine territory across the 40 and slung down by Jenkins along the right sideline. Down at the First and 10. Corbin, option keeper, left side, pitches King across the 30. Tight ropes the left sideline inside the 25 and loses his balance out of bounds down at the 22. A 14. One wide out to the wide side, right, that's Westman. Give, dive, King. King bounces it to the right side, a stiff arm to the 15, stays on his feet to the 10, still loose to the right sideline, and out of bounds down at the 6. Third and goal from the 1. Corbin takes. Keeper, left side. Corbin lowers the shoulders. He's in. Touchdown, Carson-Newman. Ivan Corbin calls his own number, and the Eagles burst into the end zone to take a 19-0 lead from a yard out with 11:48 to play in the third quarter. Them in the gun. Jeffcoat claps his hands, takes the shotgun snap, dumps a screen, left side, complete, but smashed in the backfield. Lyles met immediately by Frank. Double barrel, takes the shotgun snap, hands off King, straight ahead. King crosses the plane, touchdown, Carson-Newman. T.J. King from 3 yards out. He finds the end zone for the 4th time this season. And Carson-Newman has made it a 26-0 game with 6:10 to play in the third quarter. Jeffcoat takes the snap. Oh, he had nobody to hand it off to. And the Eagles storm through. Nick Owens catches the quarterback in the backfield. His running backs abandoned him. And Brighton 16. Corbin, give right side. For Seth Cooper. Cooper, good hard running along the right hashes. He's got the first down inside the 25, down to the 23-yard line. Seth Cooper. This is from 22. Snap back, Harris hold down, and the kick is good. So Christian Irwin buries it from 22. He scores his 3rd field goal of the day, and the Eagles have a 30-0 lead on the Fleet with 10:38 to play in the 4th quarter. Line of scrimmage. Jeffcoat takes the shotgun snap, throws quickly, a slant, it's jumped, a pick on his horse, to the house, touchdown, Carson-Newman, Cam Hinson, pick 6, Eagles 36, Wolves nothing, first defensive touchdown of the year, and it comes from Cam Hinson on his first career pick. The junior out of Sewanee, Georgia, jumps the route at the 20 along the left hashes and heads straight away the other way for 6. All those sides.
I don't think I picked one thing out on that list.
Oh, that's hard life for you, man. Handoff straight ahead to Parker. He is met in the backfield and slung down by Josh Malloy. A loss of 3 back to the 7th. Dash at its own 17. Jeffcoat back to pass, throws long, middle of the field, too tall, it's tipped, it's intercepted! Cam Hinson again! At the 45, grabs the bobbled ball and snatches his 2nd pick of the night. Just as it does in this game, Carson-Newman has taken its final kneel down, and in all black jerseys, Carson-Newman has strangled the Fleet 37-0. Eagles pitch their first shutout since 2016 and do so in dominant fashion. Offensively, consistent work after halftime, and defensively, Eagles locked and loaded from the word go. Final seconds are off the clock, and the Eagles prevail 37-0 over Erskine. Carson-Newman now 3-5 on the year and 2-3 in South Atlantic Conference play. Michael Watrang, defensively, phenomenal work, and offensively. All right, those are the second half highlights from Carson-Newman's 37-0 win over the Erskine Flying Fleet. When we get back on the Mike Clowney Show, it's time for Talent Talk, and that's after this. All right, back on the Mike Clowney Show as Carson-Newman prevails in Week 7 over the Erskine Flying Fleet, 37-0. Time now for Talent Talk, and walking the field this week with Michael Watrang, it's Jordan Wilson.
Welcome into the latest edition of Talent Talk, joined by defensive lineman Jordan Wilson.
Simmons from the gun. Hands off left side, Gamillion. That is going nowhere. Sniffed out by Jordan Wilson and Daniel Dixon Brooks.
Jordan, let's start on our walk here. When you look at your playing career, what do you remember the most about the first time that you put football pads on?
First time I put football pads on, it was around 7 years old. I played flag football when I was 6, but they decided I was too big. So I put football pads on, and it gave me a rush. It gave me a thrill, you know, getting to hit people, something that I had never done before.
Were you always a lineman?
I've always been a lineman. I've always been the biggest guy on the field. That really changed when I got to high school. I realized I was never the tallest, but I was always the biggest.
You started your career at Morehead State. What do you remember about the recruitment process?
I started there. I went up there on my official visit, and, you know, I had a great time. But then when I really went up there for school and everything, I felt like it wasn't the best place for me. And then as far as like recruitment, I had other schools interested in everything, but didn't really find the right fit.
Why did you decide to come to Carson-Newman?
So I played with Mason Brang, who was a quarterback on this team, and I've always played against Tyrell Ragland. But those have always been my boys and my brothers. And I actually had never visited Carson-Newman. I had never been up here. But talking to them and, you know, getting their input on the situation, I felt like it was the best decision for me.
Switch it up a little bit. Let's go into some fun facts. What's a song that you know every word to?
A song that I know it would be Do Not Disturb by Drake. Drake is probably my favorite artist, and that song just speaks to me.
Is Drake what you play before you get onto the field during pregame warmups?
No, Drake is more of a chill type of study vibe, but I like to play a lot of upbeat type of rap, something that, you know, gets me riled up.
You can have dinner with one person in all of history, dead or alive. It can be an athlete, an actor, a statesman. Who would you choose?
I would choose Ray Lewis. He's always been my idol ever since I started watching football. He was the first player that I watched. He came out on the field. You know, he was talking to his teammates. I really enjoyed it. I actually got the opportunity my first semester when I was at Morehead State to get on a Zoom call with him. I didn't really get to talk to him much because I was part of like his little motivational movement. So it was me and a bunch of other people, but just getting to hear him speak and talk, that was really cool.
Along those lines, what motivates you for the remainder of your career to make the most out of your time on the field?
Life is short, you know. Football doesn't last forever. So, you know, I want to make the best of it and be the best that I can be.
I'll get you out of here on this. When you look at your time here, you look at the season so far, what are some things that you still want to accomplish in these next few months?
I want to accomplish winning the rest of the games. You know, it takes one game at a time, one step at a time, one practice at a time. But eventually I want to leave here with a ring.
Jordan, really appreciate it. It was great talking to you.
Thank you.
That's Jordan Wilson on this episode of Talent Talk.
All right, thank you very much, Michael Watrang, Mike Clowney. It really feels like schematically the Carson-Newman defensive line is very similar to the offensive line. A lot of yeoman's work up front to spring the linebackers free to make the bulk of the tackles. But Jordan Wilson, the stat sheet for the season, doesn't have crazy numbers, but certainly an instrumental part of making sure that holes are plugged up and linebackers are free to make plays.
Yeah, Jordan's a good workhorse. I mean, he's a guy that comes in every day. You know, you rarely know he's there unless he's making a play. But it's because he does what he's supposed to do, the way he's supposed to do it. And, you know, he's a great team player.
All right, turn your attention to a big road game. Mars Hill victorious in flying flat fashion over the Emory and Henry Wasps this past week. Tim Clifton is one of the more innovative play callers in this league. You never know what you're going to get, whether it's the double reverse flea flicker, a halfback pass, but a bit of a throwback. They've gone back to a two tight end look, pound the ball, and integrate probably one of the best tight ends in the country in Ty Snelson. What do you have to do to get ready for one of the most tenured head coaches in any sport in this league?
I mean, that's like Tim has really kind of become the papa of the league. I mean, like, he's a great guy. I talked to Tim a good little bit, and so he and Coach Sparks had a really good relationship. So got a lot of respect for Tim, and it's no surprise to me that they went to a 2 tight end look because they got 2 really good tight ends, and so we've got to be conscious of where those guys are. He'll do a good job of making sure that you can play and stop the run, and then he'll involve those tight ends in play action. So we just got to make sure we do a good job of being alert and don't give those tight ends a free release.
Seems like this is one of the best Mars Hill defenses in a minute. They've always had crazy good offenses, but this is a high-end defense that you'll have your hands full with on Saturday.
I mean, Mars Hill's got a really good football team all the way around.
Mike Clowney, pleasure as always. Congrats. First shutout at home since 2006.
Thank you.
It's Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Clowney. I'm the voice of the Eagles, Adam Cavalier. This has been the Mike Clowney Show. Thanks for watching.